Hello, welcome to the self-learning platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we start Unit 15, Socialist Thought, Rammanohar Lohia and Jayaprakash Narayan. Let us have introduction about the unit. The growth of socialist thought as a philosophy of social and economic reconstruction is mostly the product of the Western impact on India. One of the leading saint philosophers of India, Aurobindo Ghosh's criticism of the middle class mentality of the leaders of the Indian National Congress and his plea for the social development of the proletariats in his articles to the magazine Jayaprakash in 1893. B.G. Tilak's reference to the Russian nihilists or in the Kesari in 1908. C.R. Das's reference to the glorious role of Russian Revolution in the contemporary international system, and particularly his emphasis on the role of the trade union movements in the structural development of the social and political system of India. In his presidential address at the Gaya session of the Indian National Congress in 1917 and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's eloquence about the new economic policy of 1926 and other developments in the Soviet Union, in his articles and books such as Soviet Russia, Autobiography, and Glimpses of World History, are some of the examples of the impact of Soviet ideas and thoughts on the minds of the leading Indian thinkers and political leaders. One of the leading figures of freedom struggle in India, Lala Lajpat Rai, was considered by some critics as the first writer on socialism and Bolshevism in India. The Marxist leader M.N. Roy was very critical of Lala Lajpat Rai's writing, particularly his book, The Future of India. He considered him as a bourgeois politician with sympathy for socialism. Roy, in his book India in Transition and Indian Problem, was also critical of the bourgeois attitude of the leaders of the Indian National Congress. Roy was not a blind follower of Russian communists. He considered Russian communists as a form of state capitalism. In his book Russian Revolution, he regarded the Russian Revolution as a fluke of history. Now we are going to discuss history of socialist movement in India. The socialist movement became popular in India only after the First World War and the Russian Revolution. The unprecedented economic crisis of the 20th, coupled with the capitalist and imperialist policies of the British government, created spiraling inflation and increasing unemployment among the masses. According to John Patrick Hadcock's, imperialism was considered as a form of capitalist class government intended to perpetuate the slavery of the workers. The success of the Russian Revolution under the leadership of Lenin and Trotsky and the economic growth of that country inspired intellectuals and political leaders of the developing countries of the Third World, including India. A number of radical groups and youth leagues opposing the policies of British government were born in India. A left wing was created within the Congress party under the leadership of Jawaharlal and Subhash Chandra Bose. In November 1928, an organization called the Independence for India League was created under the leadership of S. Srinivas Iyengar. Both Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose were its joint secretaries. This left-oriented pressure group under the Congress spearheaded the movement for complete political, social, and economic independence. In the Lahore session of Congress in 1929, Jawaharlal Nehru, with the help of this left wing group, got a resolution for complete independence passed. After this resolution for independence was passed, the Independence for India League got slowly disintegrated. During the first 2 decades of the 20th century, a number of political parties based on religion, caste, and community came into existence in India. According to a leading social scientist, Gopal Krishna, articulate political parochialism, characteristics of a society where primary loyalty continued to center around caste and community. Social and geographical mobility was minimal, and attitudes were not enlightened by an awareness of the larger national community, resulted in the early formation of communal and caste parties, looking in their own way to participate in the process of political modernization. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh RSS, the precursor of the Jan Sangh, was born in 1925. The Justice Party, an anti-Brahmin movement in the Madras Presidency, came into existence in 1917. Both the Muslim League and the Hindu Mahasabha were formed in 1906. As a result of the impact of Russian Revolution, most of the left parties were formed in the Third World countries. The Communist Party of India (CPI) was born in 1925. This left party was linked with the Communist International of Moscow. Besides, a lot of radical splinter groups also were born in different parts of India. The Communist Party, with the help of Communist International and the British Communist Party, made rapid progress in the field of trade union movements till the Sixth Intern Congress in 1928. With the criticism of Congress Party as an instrument of bourgeois nationalism and Gandhism, which Lenin regarded as revolutionary, as an openly counter-revolutionary force, the Communist Party got alienated from the masses as well as from the freedom struggle. Aman Roy also started his radical group in 1930 after he was expelled from Comintern in 1929. The failure of the two civil disobedience movement of 1930 and 1932 and the compromising attitude of the Congress at the two round table conferences made a number of young leaders disillusioned. During this time, Gandhi also suspended his Satyagraha movement and started concentrating on constructive programs. Many congressmen considered this development as a failure of Gandhi's non-violent struggle. In this atmosphere of disillusionment, an attempt was made to form the Congress Socialist Party, a Marxism oriented organization within the Congress Party in 1934. The socialist groups were also formed in Punjab, Bengal, Banaras, and Kerala. In Pune, the task of forming the Socialist Party within the Congress was entrusted to Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, Yusuf Mehreli, and Purushottam Trikamdas. Other leaders who were instrumental in the formation of Congress Socialist Party were Jayaprakash, Narayan, Minto Masani, Ashok Mehta, Ayuch Patwardhan, N.G. Gore, M.L. Dantwala, Acharya Narendra Dev, Dr. Rammanohar Lohia, and S.M. Joshi. While in prison, these leaders prepared the blueprint of the Congress Socialist Party. Thus, the Congress Socialist Party was born out of the disillusionment with the civil resistance movement, growth of constitutionalism, and anti national role of the Communist Party of India, and its alienation from the national mainstream. Some socialist critics are of the opinion that if the Communist Party of India would not have shown its anti Gandhi, anti freedom struggle mentality, and the Congress Party would not have been dominated by the conservative elements, perhaps the Congress Socialist Party would never have been born at all. During the 30s, Jawaharlal was considered as a great champion of the socialist philosophy. Every young leader of the Congress Party looked upon him as the symbol of socialism. In a letter to Minto Masani on December 1934, Nehru welcomed the formation of socialist groups within the Congress to influence the ideology of Congress and the country. By 1934, many socialist groups were formed in different parts of the country. It was then realized that these groups were to be brought under one socialist platform. Jayaprakash Narayan organized a conference of socialist members in Patna in May 1934. He also revived the Bihar Socialist Party. The All India Congress Socialist Party was formed at this conference. Gandhi's decision to withdraw the civil disobedience movement and the revival of the rightist Swaraj Party participated the formation of the Congress Socialist Party in 1934. Gandhi's favorable attitude towards the suffragists like B.C. Roy, K.M. Munshi, Vallabhbhai Desai, and others, and the Congress decision to withdraw the civil disobedience movement and launch parliamentary programs in the forthcoming Patna meeting on 18th May 1934 made socialist forces in the Congress to create the Congress Socialist Party on 17th May 1934. Acharya Narendra Dev was made the chairman and Jayaprakash Narayan as the organizing secretary of the committee to draft the constitution and the programs of the Congress Socialist Party. Here we want to wind up this lecture and thank you so much for your attention.